2,000 feet beneath the ocean, there is no sunlight, no easy escape, and one mistake can crush you before anyone on the surface knows you're in trouble. In 1989, James Cameron took a cast, a crew, a cutting edge movie technology into a flooded nuclear power plant to make a film about humanity meeting something impossible. The result was beautiful and terrifying and so punishing that some of the people who survived the production barely wanted to speak about it afterwards. Today, we're diving into The Abyss, the ambitious science fiction epic that nearly drowned its makers, changed visual effects, and found the ending it deserved only after audiences brought it home. Welcome back to Retro Life for You, the show where we revisit the movies and television memories and pop culture moments that made the 80s and 90s unforgettable. I'm your host, Chris, and today with us is Marty, and we're headed far below the surface for James Cameron's 1989 underwater epic, The Abyss.
Which is a great movie.
A great movie, and true. Very great movie. But, Marty, before we dive into it, let's make sure that these fine people out here follow Retro Life for You on the social media at Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, Marty, what should they do?
Hit that bell. Hit that bell.
Hit the bell. If you don't hit the bell, how do you know we got something new coming out? Make sure you hit that bell.
That's right. That's right.
At these places, you'll catch alerts to our new episodes, any retro trivia we may put up, clips, behind-the-scenes stories, and if you like wearing nostalgia, check out our Retro Life for You t-shirt shop at vintagevibesshop.com. You'll find some great movie-inspired designs, some retro humor, and shirts made for people who still believe the video store era was the best era ever. Is that not right, Marty? Please be kind. Rewind. All right, Marty, check your air, secure the hatch. We're going to descend into the abyss.
Well, that's right.
So before this weekend, when's the last time you had watched The Abyss?
Oh, man. I want to say early 90s, definitely. So
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. And to tell you the truth, I don't know why I haven't watched this movie sooner than just like over the weekend, because I mean the movie, exceptional. I mean it could be possibly one of my favorite James Cameron movies. I mean I like a lot of his movies, don't get me wrong, but this one definitely it got overlooked as
and it had some cool groundbreaking special effects in it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it makes it stand out from a lot of his other movies. And it's been a while for me. I told you earlier. I'm glad you brought this up because I remember it being a good movie. I just forgot how good it was.
Yeah.
And rewatching it this weekend, man, it was really great, really fun. For those out there who are wondering if you haven't seen The Abyss, or maybe you just don't remember what it was released in August of 1989, which fits our theme we've been doing of summer releases in the month of August. Mm-hmm. The Abyss is a science fiction adventure survival thriller, Cold War drama, bruised love story all at once. James Cameron wrote and directed it with Gale Anne Hurd producing, Mikael Salomon handling cinematography, and Alan Silvestri composing the score. He has a lot of great scores in movies.
Yes,
Yeah. If you guys aren't familiar with his work, make sure you check him out. You can go to YouTube probably and type his name in and come up with all kinds of stuff he's done for movies. But the story begins with the U.S. nuclear submarine Montana mysteriously sinks near the Cayman Trough. With a hurricane closing in and Soviet ships moving toward the wreck, the Navy sends a SEAL team to deep core an experimental underwater oil drilling platform. The civilian crew is led by Virgil Bud Brigman, played by Ed Harris. The platform's designer and Bud's estranged wife, Dr. Lindsey Brigman, played by Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, arrives with the military team. The mission appears to be a dangerous salvage operation, and then Lindsey sees a strange light moving beneath the water. As the storm cuts deep core off from the surface and SEAL Commander Hiram Coffey begins to unravel under pressure, the crew realizes the ocean may contain an intelligence that has been watching humanity very closely.
Yeah. But the thing is it's kind of, it was the one thing they never really touched on was how long they had been, down there, underneath the water. I
Right.
mean, if it would have touched on maybe the part where I ain't gonna say too much, but towards the end of the movie, when Virgil is, where he's somewhere, and then the aliens. So it would have been nice if they would have just kind of, because they were already typing what he had typed. Like he could see it up there on the screen behind him. It would have been like maybe they could have communicated telepathically through that little image, and then say how long they had been down underneath the water. So
Yeah, I mean it's the movie's quite a few years old, so if nobody's actually seen it yet, I mean, spoiler alert. we're
yeah,
we're gonna be talking about the movie, so spoiler
yeah,
alert.
yeah.
But I mean, it's still great to rewatch, no matter what you know about the movie or anything.
Uh-huh. And if you've never seen the movie, I didn't give too much away. So.
I know we don't want to give too much, but I mean, at
Yeah.
the same time, we gotta talk something good about it to give them something
Yeah,
to look forward to, right? Some pre-production notes. Excuse me. Some pre-production notes about the movie. The seed of the story went back to Cameron's teenage years. Man, excuse me.
Mhm.
I tried to get a drink of something a while ago, and now it's all kinds of stuff getting caught up in me. The seed of the story went back to Cameron's teenage years. After hearing about experimental liquid breathing research, he wrote a story about people living and working beneath the sea. Once he became a filmmaker, that basic idea evolved from scientists in an underwater laboratory into blue collar oil worker characters Cameron believed would give the fantastic setting a tougher and more relatable human center. Um, the project demanded something a normal soundstage could not provide, however, a gigantic, controllable underwater environment. Cameron considered existing facilities, but the production ultimately took over the unfinished Cherokee nuclear power plant near Gaffney, South Carolina. Its enormous reactor contained structure was converted into a freshwater tank holding roughly 7.5 million gallons of water.
Wow.
A second turbine pit became another tank. So he definitely went all in with this movie, and a lot of the
He
things that you
did.
see are underwater are truly underwater things that are being recorded and done.
Yeah.
The deep core set was anchored underwater to a 90-ton concrete column. Millions were spent on set construction, custom submersibles, watertight camera housings, lighting, safety systems, and communications. Because so much live action material would be photographed underwater, the cast trained as divers. Production notes credited the movie as the first feature to record scripted dialogue directly during underwater filming rather than adding every line later. Even night had to be engineered. The tank was covered to block sunlight, and small plastic beads floated on the surface to keep unwanted light out. A storm tore a huge section of the covering. Algae damaged visibility, and heavy chlorination irritated skin and affected hair. The controlled environment was never completely under control. Uh, it was a very tough place to shoot. They said, Marty, very rough
Yeah.
on all the actors. James Cameron even did some underwater stuff himself. He went underwater. It wasn't just the actors.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, he kind of went all out for it. Uh, Something they refer to basically as the shoot from hell. It says principal photography began in August of '88 and lasted about 140 shooting days. The cast and crew worked long weeks in and around the water. Actors performed with scuba equipment while trying to hit marks, deliver dialogue, and stay emotionally present. Underwater crew members worked working deeper and longer, sometimes required decompression before returning to the surface. The
Yeah.
strain. Hmm?
Yeah, I was gonna say that whole part about the decompression part. That leads into what's his name, Coffee,
Right.
where he starts to get dementia and stuff, like where it's
I
like
think they were calling it the shakes to begin with
yeah,
because
they call it the they
his
call it
hand was real
the fake.
shaky,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to lead into more hysteria for him, where
Hmm.
he's not trusting anybody or anything, and
Yeah, and he
yeah,
definitely, oof, man.
right.
Yeah.
The strain, it says, became part of the film's legend. Michael Biehn later described the terror of being underwater when the lights failed. Ed Harris has spoken about the emotional impact of the production. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio reached a breaking point during the exhausting resuscitation sequence after a camera problem forced yet another take. Her protest was, "We're not animals," has become the sentence most often used to summarize the human cost of the shoot. So when I said a while ago that it was a rough shoot, I mean they will all they're all on record saying it was
Yeah.
hard, it was terrible, it was
It was
crazy.
the shoot from hell.
Exactly what they called it.
Mm,
Exactly. So Cameron was not directing from a dry chair, however. He spent long stretches underwater too, and he later recalled a frightening incident in which he nearly drowned while trying to reach the surface.
hmm.
That does not erase what the actors endured, but it helps explain the production culture. Everyone, including the director, was pushing into conditions few narrative films had ever attempted. The hardship is visible on screen. Deep core feels heavy because it was heavy. The water feels dangerous because the
It
actors
was
were really
dangerous. Yeah.
submerged. Exactly. Absolutely dangerous. The performances carry fatigue, irritation, claustrophobia that a dry for wet stage could never reproduce in quite the same way.
Mm,
I do
yeah.
not envy them at all. I mean, now for that, those are dedicated people right there to go
Yeah.
that far to that
Dedicated to the craft.
extreme.
Yeah.
Right. Dedicated to the movie. They must have really believed in that movie to the point to where they were willing to put themselves in those situations and go that deep into the acting with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they wanted that paycheck more than I would probably.
Mm. Well, I mean, and more likely it was probably more of just, more than just a paycheck. It was just to see if I can actually do this or not.
Yeah.
See,
Testing
so,
themselves and everything as well, learning
yeah.
new things. I said they trained as scuba divers, it said. So you're learning something new there.
Hmm.
So uh the cast, now they had a pretty decent cast. There was a few people that stood out and some other ones that are just you might know this person from this movie or that movie or something, but not a major person, right? Ed Harris played Virgil Bud Brigman. Everybody just calls him Bud.
Yeah, but
I seen that, and I first thing I thought of was the Cosby Show.
mm,
His name
but
is Kenny. No, his name is Bud.
but
Bud. Bud, a blue collar foreman whose decency becomes humanity's best argument. Harris is also known for Apollo 13, The Right Stuff, The Truman Show, one of my favorite movies he was in, The Rock,
yes,
A Beautiful Mind, and Westworld. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. I used to struggle to say that name, Mastrantonio. I
that's
don't know why. Played Dr. Lindsey Brigman, as we said earlier, Virgil's estranged wife. The platform's brilliant designer. She's rational, stubborn, brave, and emotionally wounded.
mm-hmm.
Other major credits of hers include Scarface, The Color of Money, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Class Action, and the television series Grimm. Of all those I just listed, I think Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is
Yeah,
one of
that's
my
what I
favorites I've seen
remember
her
most.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
Well,
Color of Money.
I've seen The Color of Money with Tom Cruise. I mean, it was okay, but
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen Scarface. I mean,
yeah, Who hasn't?
Most.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, I started to say, if you haven't seen it, you're going to say hello to my little friend. Introduce you here. Michael Biehn. This guy, in my opinion, has never been and this might be an unpopular opinion. I don't know. In my opinion, he's never been an A-list actor. He is a B-list actor to me. He's the guy who can carry a solid role that means something to the movie, but he's not the leading actor to carry a movie.
Right. I've never really seen him as a lead in a lead role. The closest thing to a lead role that he ever had was when he was in Aliens. So, but Sigourney Weaver was the main character. So,
right, exactly. And he plays Lieutenant Hiram Coffey. He's the one you mentioned a while ago. Is problems when he gets down there. He's got the shakes a little bit, and he starts getting paranoid, not trusting anybody for what their mission is.
And the whole scene where they're in the little conference, they're in that conference room or that break room that look like a conference room.
Yeah,
and he's just, his arms are leaned down, and he's just leaned forward, and he's just kind of twitching and kind of gritting his teeth. And then all of a sudden, the camera pans underneath, and he's got that knife, and he's just like slicing into his arm.
Yeah, he's trying to take his mind off what's going on.
I was like
distraction. Now he plays the leader of the Navy SEAL group that comes down, and it says whose high pressure nervous syndrome, fear, and mission obsession becomes lethal. He had already worked with James Cameron in The Terminator and Aliens. He later appeared in Tombstone, The Rock, and Planet Terror. We did The Rock not too long ago, I believe.
Yeah.
And he plays, funny enough, one of the Navy SEALs in that one.
Yeah.
That
gets killed.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be. Was he not in the movie Navy SEALs?
Yeah, with Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen, yeah.
So it's like three different movies. Yeah. He's played a Navy SEAL in at least 3 different movies.
3 movies, yeah.
And in the Tombstone, he was Johnny Ringo.
Johnny Ringo.
Yeah, Johnny Ringo. No, that's Doc. That was Doc Holliday.
Yeah, I know it was, but that's what Doc Holliday says to Johnny Ringo.
Yeah. I believe we started a game. Play for keeps. Now, before we go any further, the rest of the cast there, I want to just bring up real quick. We're talking about Michael being here and playing the Navy SEAL leader, Hiram Coffey. The reason why they get brought in the first place is that nuclear sub got crashed down into that gorge there. Now, people, they didn't know what caused it. They thought a Russian sub may have attacked or something, right? And basically what it was the alien life form in the ocean that later on becomes more evident that had zipped past them. They get caught
in the wake. Yeah,
exactly. And they crash basically into some rocks, and they end up taking on some water, and they can't recover from it. And they start going down in the little ravine thing there in the gorge.
Yeah. Because the captain of the sub, he's all like, blow the hatches, blow everything, and then and then you see the water just starting to just pour into the sub
everywhere. So he's like, launch the buoy.
Yeah, launch the buoy.
They know where to come, recover things. That he knew it was over with at that point. The Navy SEAL group gets brought in to go down there, and you think they're down there to check out the sub and make sure nobody's left alive down there to come out. In reality, they're recovering something from the sub that ends up being something extremely dangerous to everybody around. Man. And when he realizes there's something alien going on, and at some point in the movie, everybody sees it, right? It's not just a couple of people catching a glimpse of something. It's everybody sees it now. He goes crazy and thinks that it's something there that the Russians. He still believes it's Russian related. Russia, Russia, Russia.
Yeah, exactly.
Another fake Russian dossier. Okay. Anyway, um, but yeah, it's it's something else I want to touch on too. I've always been a person who would love the conspiracy theories of alien life forms, right? Watching little shows, whether it be about alien life forms in outer space. Is there something on Mars? Is there something on Jupiter? Is there something on Venus or whatever? Is there something out there that we don't 100% officially know, and all these things? And they keep wanting to explore further into space. What's on the moon? Is there anything on the moon? Who knows? But the ocean takes up 70% of the Earth, right?
Yeah.
And we've only explored maybe, what was it, 10%, 12%?
Yeah, not even. I mean, maybe
Not even that
8 or
much, maybe.
9%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean a small amount. Nobody knows
What's
what's in the
underneath? Yeah.
what's at the bottom of the ocean. Nobody knows what's in different parts of the ocean for the most part.
Mhm.
So the thought that something could be down there like that, I mean, living all this time and thriving and everything is, a very interesting conspiracy
Concept.
theory to
Yeah.
wonder about. It's a very interesting concept, yes. And so when you finally see at the end of the movie the look of what he created for this alien species or whatever, it's really super cool.
Yeah.
And I would like to go on record by saying that I believe that when they made the Star Wars prequels, that somebody copied James Cameron's idea when they made Jar Jar Binks and the Gungans down in the water.
Yeah. I mean, kinda, but I mean, but the alien species in the abyss, they had that kind of, because the one thing looked almost like a octopus, the smaller vessel,
Hmm.
but the bigger vessel with the actual alien inside looked like a stingray, how it was shaped and everything. So
Right. And they're different. I mean, whatever they were, they could, manipulate water.
yeah,
They learned to manipulate water and use it for their own being and everything.
yeah. But
So
see,
that was cool.
that's how I'm thinking. I'm thinking that possibly when the ship first crashed, maybe on Earth, it maybe they weren't a life the life that could survive underwater, but they adapted.
Could
And
be. They never really explain it. They leave you wondering, even at the end of the film. You're wondering. You're left wanting more,
yeah,
and you're
but
not getting it.
it leaves the imagination to actually think
Mhm.
about,
Right.
like what what that species would have had to have gone through to adapt to a water based life. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, it's very very interesting thing for sure.
Mm.
We go back to the rest of the cast here real quick. We got Leo Burmester played the role of Catfish DeVry. He's the crew's warm, memorable mechanic. Burmester also appeared in Lone Star, The Last Temptation of Christ, The Devil's Advocate, and Gangs of New York, for to name a few. Todd Graff. Now, this guy right here, there's something else that I know I have to know him from, and Marty, you can think of what it is. This is the guy. He's Alan Hippie Carnes. It says the
Mm.
rat-loving conspiracy theorist who is far more perceptive than he first appears. Graff later became a filmmaker and wrote or directed projects included Camp, Band Slam, and Joyful Noise. But have we not seen him acting in other movies?
I
Something
want,
about him kind of looks familiar to me.
yeah, I want to say yes, but I'm not sure in what. So because I'm really I can see his face. I'm drawing a blank on what movies, but but I didn't know that he went on to direct Joyful Noise. That's one of my wife's and my daughter's favorite movies.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Well, let me take a quick look then, because the curiosity is going to kill me if I don't look. I am, and I've already got IMDb up anyway. So autograph. Clicking on that name right now and loading his IMDb up. He is known for The Abyss, The Vanishing, Strange Days, and where he wrote the movie Camp. But as far as acting, what else have I seen him in? You know what? I think I see. I think I see what it is already. But I want to check a little bit further down first when he first started. He started in 75, 76. He was on the Electric Company. Marty? Do you remember the Electric Company?
Yeah, wasn't that kind of like Sesame Street?
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, NPT television had like Sesame Street, and then in this case we had the Electric Company as well. He was the narrator of the Spidey Super Stories, and he was on the Electric Company for quite a bit. But going back up toward the movies he was in Dominic and Eugene, the Flamingo Kid TV movie. Here he is at the Abyss, and here's the two movies right here where I think I know him from, and I didn't. He was in An Innocent Man. He was one of the cons in there, along there with Tom Selleck in Innocent Man, and he was in Opportunity Knocks with Dana Carvey.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah, that would be it. That would be. I knew I've seen him in other places. It was just going to drive me crazy till I realized where it was. So, all right. John Bedford Lloyd played Jammer Willis, a dependable deep core crewman. His later credits include The Bourne Supremacy, The Manchurian Candidate, Suits, and Ozark. Kimberly Scott played Lisa One Night Standing. We talked about this.
Yeah,
what a name, right?
Yeah, we talked about her name.
What a name. One Night Standing. I mean, that.
Yeah, but we called her One Night Stand.
Right. She, capable member of the rig crew. She was the one that drove the underwater.
Big D.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was called Big Geek. Yeah, they called it Big Geek.
You're right. Yeah. Took me a second, Bill. You're right. She also appeared in Flatliners, The Client, Batman Forever, and Guess Who?
I thought she looked, when I was looking at her face, I was like, I know her from somewhere else. Flatliners is because she's the older version of the little girl that Kevin Bacon picked on as a child.
I believe so.
Yeah, that was her. So
here's a favorite for a lot of people who had a bit part in the movie. Chris Elliott. He played the role of Bendix before becoming famous. He is, and he's got a couple of unforgettable roles with lines that you don't forget.
My tiny hand.
He says, "Take my good hand, child. Take my good hand." Scary movie. But before becoming famous for the TV series Get a Life, or let's say before, Cabin Boy, there's something about Mary. He played Elliot. Elliot played Deep Core's nervous systems operator. So this is one of the earliest things you could say that he was in, and then went on to get more fame with the other things I mentioned, like Get a Life, Cabin Boy, and There's Something About Mary. J.C. Quinn plays Arliss Dawson, also known as Sonny, a rough edge but loyal crew member. Quinn's credits include Vision Quest, Days of Thunder, The Rocketeer, and Primary Colors. And then the last one mentioned is Captain Kid Brewer Jr. He plays Lou Findler, a real-world businessman and former football player who portrayed the surface supervisor aboard the Benthic Explorer. Okay. What a name. Captain Kid Brewer Jr. That means there's another one out there.
He's the where the hurricanes kicked up and everything, and literally he's got the headphone. One of them's here, one of them's on the side of his head. He's all like, cut the line, cut the line. And that dude's all like, what?
So being referred to as Captain Kidd Brewer Jr., is that like saying Sir Alec Guinness, or
Yeah, it is.
is that
Sir,
the same
he's
thing?
been knighted.
Has he been not
He's been
well
knighted.
not knighted, but I mean, has he been militarized? I
Yes.
mean, as a captain, man. This is one of those movies where I don't think there was anybody else really considered for any of the roles. If there was, it wasn't really anybody going for a major role. I think most everybody they wanted to play into, they got what they wanted, I believe. So,
Mm-hmm.
box office, The Abyss opened to about 9.3 million in the United States and Canada. Box Office Mojo currently lists approximately 55 million domestic, 35.5 million international, uh, about 90.5 million dollars worldwide across its recorded theatrical releases. So it made quite a bit of money.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, anything with Cameron's name plastered on it, I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna make money.
I mean, I think he pretty much doubled his budget, as his contemporary budget figures vary. But Fox and Cameron cited roughly 43 million, while other estimates rose to about 45 to 47 million. Some later databases list even still higher estimates. Using the contemporary 43 to 47 million range, though, meeting in the middle, the worldwide gross sounds pretty respectable. Theaters keep a substantial share, and the studio also had marketing and distribution expenses. That's why the film is commonly described as a theatrical disappointment rather than its outright audience rejection. It also arrived in a crowded summer that included Batman, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Lethal Weapon 2, Ghostbusters 2, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Parenthood. So
Yeah.
it had an
Competition.
uphill battle,
Mm-hmm.
and it was difficult to summarize this movie in just a 30-second trailer. I mean, how do you do that? The movie is so deep.
Yeah.
There's three different stories going on at once within it. You get the story of the sub going down and the Navy SEAL team coming in to go down and do a recovery, right? You've got the thought of an alien life force living under the ocean trying to make contact at this point now. You've got the story of Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio's characters,
Yeah.
their
I
relationship as a
remember,
marriage.
and the thing is, I remember literally like this. This always stuck with me from the trailer, but it literally shows like that scene where Ed Harris and Mary and that whole scene where the water's starting to come up around them,
Yeah.
and yeah, and from the
And
trailer,
that's like one of the most dramatic scenes of the movie.
yeah, exactly. So
Definitely one of the more memorable scenes. And for those, what we're talking about, they're trapped where they're at, and they got to get up to the top. And she is already experiencing some
hypothermia,
some
yeah,
hypothermia. She said she's not going to make it if she has to swim up there. And she tells him, he's the better swimmer. He needs to put on the mask where he's got oxygen, where he can take them up. She said, I'm going to have to drown, and you're going to have to carry me up there and resuscitate me. I
yeah.
got, she has full, trust in him and everything at this point to go do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just a very dramatic scene to
Oh, dude,
watch. I mean, because
that whole scene, man, when he comes, when he's got them on the radio and saying, bring the heat blankets, bring the adrenaline, bring the paddles. I mean, he's
right.
telling them, bring everything that you can bring. And
I mean,
once he gets
it's a
there,
very believable scene the way he barks the orders out. I mean,
yeah,
he's got it down one after the other. He's not missing a beat. Everything they need in a commanding order, with a commanding voice. He's swimming with her back to the top. The people who are getting everything are very believable with it at this point.
yeah, because they're, I
Um,
mean, they're just like they're you see them going into the med bay, and then they're just like yanking stuff off the shelf and just
Like
running back. Like the whole inside scenes of the Abyss when they're on the rig itself is really cool because how the camera actually moved with the motions of everybody, like running down the tunnel. I mean, just the whole part where the rig's about to get dragged off into the abyss. Like that whole scene where you seeing fire starting over here on this side, and then they're getting extinguishers, and then you see water start exploding in over here on this side, and then he's trying to cap it off, and it's just it really draws you in.
it does.
Makes you feel everything that they're feeling. So
Like I said, very well done. Very well done. Um, Home release, where the film found its full shape. It did well to theater, but now you got the home video release. Home video changed the movie's reputation. The the theatrical cut had removed a major third act storyline involving enormous waves and the non-terrestrial
yeah,
intelligence's
the
judgment of
director's
humanity.
cut, I wish I would have saw again. So
Yeah.
because the
Uh,
director's cut was really cool at the very
I,
end of the
well,
movie.
I'm going to go find that one because now I want to see that.
Hmm.
Cameron restored the material for the special edition, adding roughly 28 more minutes and making the Cold War themes, the aliens' actions, and Bud's sacrifice connect much more clearly. The 1993 special edition Laserdisc box set was a landmark collector's release. It was the first THX certified Laserdisc title and was reported as a bestseller through the remainder of that year. A widescreen special edition VHS followed in 1996. The two disc DVD issued in 2000 included both the theatrical and extended cuts through seamless branching, plus a large archive of production material and the documentary Under Pressure, Making the Abyss, which I'd like to see that as well.
Yeah.
For years, fans waited for a modern high definition release. The 4K restoration returned the special edition to theaters for a one night event in December 2023. Disney released the film on Ultra HD Blu ray and Blu ray in March of 2024, with both cuts and a collection of new and archival extras. The numbers estimates more than 2.1 million in US Blu-ray sales for the title in the period it tracks, but comprehensive VHS Laserdisc rental and DVD revenue totals are not publicly available. So the honest verdict is kind of, whatever out there, but the film became a celebrated home theater and collector title even though there's no dependable, all format lifetime sale figures. Let's
Right.
just say it made a crap, like we said before with this.
Yeah. Anything with Cameron's name on it is gonna make money.
Yeah, making a lot of money. The effects that pointed toward the future. The film won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects and received additional nominations for cinematography, art direction, and sound. Its most historically important effect is the computer generated water pseudopod that enters deep core and mimics Bud and Lindsay's faces.
Yeah, that
That
was really
was
cool.
that
Yeah.
was pretty cool special effects. That's where you got the thing manipulating the water like it's a rope of
Mhm.
water, and it's looking like their faces at them, mimicking them sticking out their tongue or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever they're
And
doing. It
then
mimics
and
it.
then she literally like points her finger right into the face, and then she's like salt water. So yeah.
So it's whatever it is. It's just manipulating the water to come through the room there with them. So it makes you wonder what exactly is the alien entity. Then is it something that is physical, or is it something else? Because down underwater, it looks like it's two different things, like it's physical in two different forms or something.
Hmm.
But then inside the ship, it wasn't. Industrial Light and Magic spent months creating roughly 75 seconds of computer graphics. The team built software to animate a reflective, moving water surface and match it to the photograph set. The sequence proved that a digitally generated character could interact convincingly with live action. Cameron and ILM would push the idea further 2 years later with the liquid metal T-1000 in Terminator
Yeah,
2
that's what
Judgment
I was
Day.
about to say. Yeah, the Terminator. Yeah,
Yeah, so it led up to that, and that was impressive when it came out. The way they made that Terminator look, what
yeah,
it was built of, and everything.
exactly.
So that was really cool.
Liquid metal,
Right,
all silver. So
liquid metal. The effect still works because it's not just a technology demonstration. It is curious, gentle, and personal. It copies the faces of two people who are no longer able to communicate honestly with each other. The alien water becomes a mirror, literally and emotionally.
mhm.
So it's I can't say enough about the special effects. I
Yeah,
can't. It
special
was
effects. Yeah,
really cool special effects with the alien life form entities and the. I thought it was a city at first, and as it turned out, that's not a city. It's one gigantic ship.
yeah, yeah. And see that's what was crazy in the extended version because when the ship actually rises up out of the ocean, I mean in the theater version it's rising real slow, like the columns are just
Hmm.
just barely creeping up out of the water.
Right.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, in the extended version, that mug just like surfaces quick, and it's like the all the ships and everything are sitting on the alien ship, and literally you see the wake of the waves that the ship makes. And these daggone waves are like giant tsunamis that are like crashing into like cities and stuff. So yeah, it's really crazy how it went from almost a cutesy ending to like
Mhm.
big tsunamis killing like all these people. So,
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm
yeah,
gonna watch it. Um, so let's throw a few fun trivia and behind the scenes stories out here. Uh, do you remember the scene where the rat was taken from the guy and put in the thing with the liquid oxygen stuff?
yeah, yeah.
So it says the rat submerged in oxygenated fluorocarbon was genuinely breathing liquid. The technique has a real scientific basis, although the scene remains controversial and distressing for many viewers. It was really
Yeah, it
breathing and
was.
stuff in.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
For Ed Harris's liquid breathing helmet shots, this is what you were talking about. The
Yeah.
helmet was actually filled with tinted water while Harris held his breath. The fictional oxygenated liquid was added through performance and editing. He wasn't actually breathing.
Okay, but it sure looked like that whole scene because like you could literally that pink water it was up around his head in the helmet, and then you literally see him blow air out. So and I'm like, okay, he's actually taking that liquid air in. So
Right. Just goes to show he's a great actor, then, right? He had
yeah,
you fooled the whole
exactly,
time.
exactly.
About 40% of the live action principal photography was performed underwater, according to production accounts. The movie pioneered direct recording of scripted dialogue during underwater filming using specially developed communication equipment. The deep core rig was attached to a 90-ton concrete column, so the enormous set would remain stable underwater. Um, Now, a storm tore roughly 200 feet of the black cover used to keep sunlight out of the tank, forcing major schedule adjustments and more night filming. Um, ILM's crew, informally nicknamed CGI Water Tentacle, the Water Weenie. The Water Weenie. The pseudopod required roughly 6 months of work for only about 75 seconds of finished computer animation.
Mm.
that just goes to now. Let that sink in, everybody. The pseudopod thing required roughly 6 months of work, and that was just for a minute and 15 seconds of
Yeah.
finished computer animation in the movie.
Mm. And
I,
what
I
they can
don't think a lot of people
and what
appreciate.
they can do with like the special effects nowadays,
Yes.
which can be done within like three to 4 seconds.
Hmm.
I
I just
mean,
don't think I don't think a lot of people really appreciate what it takes to go into the special effects of a movie to make scenes that wow you on the big screen at the theater. I don't
yeah.
think people actually appreciate that so much when I don't think they just don't know how much work is actually involved in
Mhm.
getting. Do you remember when animation when they did cartoon animations at one point through flip books and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
You had to draw
That
of
obscene thing.
the same thing, very, very slightly changing poses or moving.
Uh-huh.
All right. And then page by page by page by page, something is slightly different. And if you start flipping
And
through
then you
it,
swipe through it, Scooby and Shaggy are running.
they're running. It's like an animation now. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
look the same anymore. It's the same thing with these. They so many computer generated things they've got to do to make look realistic and work on and tweak and perfect, and then they get it done, and people are like, "Oh, it's awesome!" But they're like, they don't realize that little 30-second clip they just see in the movie, took 4 to 6 months to record and and
one
and,
of
and edit.
one of my one of my personal favorite uh things from like special effects wise.
Hmm.
And if you ever get a chance, it's from the second or third Transformers movie. It's where it's where those planes that have the blades that turn this direction, and the engines will be front, but then they'll turn and then they'll hover. The scene where they're flying into Chicago, and then and then the team's getting ready to like jump out of the back of the plane, and literally you see like Starscream coming through, and he's like bombing these other planes out of the air, and there's a scene where they're running to the end to jump out of the plane,
Hmm.
and you see all these other planes just coming down around them like on fire,
Right.
exploding this direction and exploding and pieces of it coming towards the people that are jumping out this other plane. There is literally like a digital scene where it shows everything mapped, like stage by stage by stage by stage, and the whole part where the team's getting ready to jump out the plane, they're running, but they're running on a green screen, and they got like little dots that are connected to them, where it literally maps everything, every digital image that needs to be placed on them, and like that whole scene is just amazing how it's done, like like CGI that.
Right. Right. I mean, it's very well done throughout the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
The movie received, I don't know if I said this or not, 4 Academy Award nominations and won Best Visual Effects. Orson Scott Card wrote the novelization and developed character backstories in consultation with Cameron, giving readers additional context for Bud, Lindsey, and Coffee. Um, the special edition restores, as you mentioned, the tidal wave climax and television images of global conflict, turning the ending from a mysterious rescue into a direct warning about humans or humanity's captivity for self destruction. And And the theatrical and special edition cuts offer genuinely different experiences. The shorter cut is tighter and more ambiguous. The extended cut is thematically fuller and making the title's moral argument explicit.
Yeah, because I want to say even the theater cut was like 2 hours and 28 minutes long,
Right.
and then the extended cut was about almost 3 hours. So
Now, when you first saw this movie and you saw the beginning of it, I know you knew from the preview there was some kind of thing down there under the water that
right,
they're going to experience. But seeing the beginning of it when the Montana goes down, um, the opening kind of announces that this is not really a normal submarine movie. There's an unknown light or is an unknown thing out there that's going at impossible speed.
right.
He's like 100 at 130 knots. He's like nothing
130
goes at
knots is
130
nothing.
knots.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And of course the terror comes from the machinery failing in total darkness and from trained people confronting something outside their understanding. But did you, when you first seen that?
I mean, when I first saw the movie, especially like the opening part, when the sub gets hit by the wake of that, but it doesn't really show what it is. It doesn't really give you a good glimpse of what it
Right.
is.
You just know it's something
You see
major
this,
going
you
super
see this
fast.
bright light. Yeah, you just see this bright light, and it just moves really fast right by the sub, and then you see the wake hit the sub, and then that's when it starts spinning the sub, and then that's when it crashes into the wall. So, and then it tears a big hole in the hole, and then it starts taking on water, and then when it really starts to sink, then that's when it does a nosedive, and it smacks right into the wall of like when it's going down into the abyss.
Right.
It just smacks right into the wall, and then it caves in the whole nose of the sub. So that's really when it really started taking on the water. So
And we mentioned earlier one of the most um, dramatic moments is when you got Lindsay's character drowning herself
mhm.
purposely and having him take them both up there and for him to resuscitate her. It was very, very emotional scene and everything. She comes right back a little while later when Bud takes it on himself to go down there him
Yeah, little geek.
and
Yeah,
do the thing himself with little. Yes, he's the
mhm.
one that's going to be taking care of this. And he tells her it's a one-way ticket. You know, always knew it, but he had to do it.
Yeah.
She on the conversation she's having with him going down is very dramatic. It's much different than their regular conversation they have through the rest of the movie,
Yeah,
for
really.
sure. But
Yeah.
she's finally expressing what she really feels about him at this point.
And she's
They've
basically saying,
grown.
she's basically telling him, I wish I could have said this to your face and not over in an intercom. So,
Right, and they've grown closer again, being back on there with all the situation that's going through. That
mhm.
was pretty deep as well. And of course he's able to he can't speak because he's got that liquid oxygen stuff he's
Yeah,
getting there, but he
like
can
like
type.
the further he was going down, the more you could see, like you could see his body kind of getting the tremors just like Coffee did,
Yeah,
because he was feeling the same pain, and the only and then what was it when he was at 20,000 feet? They said that you just broke the world record, and he was all like, "Call Guinness." Yeah, he types in "Call Guinness."
oh goodness.
Mhm.
So Couple of questions for you, then we're going to start wrapping this up. Okay. Which version worked better for you, the original theatrical cut or the special edition? Because the original theatrical cut, it leaves that lingering, the wondering at the end of it.
Yeah.
It leaves you wanting more and wanting to know. But in the theatrical cut, you get, the what we talked about, the little extra there that that shows what can be done. I mean, did you like it better being left wondering, and let your imagination run, or did you prefer the director's cut version?
In a way, I did like the theatrical cut more because you could use your imagination to actually wonder, how everything would take place after the aliens like surface
Mm-hmm.
from the ocean. But I will say this for the extended director's cut, when it actually shows you the ship come up and the tsunamis like hitting like all these major cities, and then and then it goes into basically like it talks about what the military is getting ready to do. You know, it doesn't say what they're going to do, but
Mm-hmm.
it leaves you at that point of where you think the military is getting ready for taking action against the aliens for causing all this devastation. So
Would the movie The Abyss feel as convincing to you if it were made largely with digital, water, and virtual sets like they do today?
mm, yeah, I mean, I could still see like you know I could see maybe a little bit more CGI from nowadays if they were to add it into the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
But like me and you've discussed before, give me practical effects instead of digital. So
Right. Nope, I agree. All right. One last question. You mentioned this earlier. This might be your favorite. Where's this Abyss movie rank among James Cameron's films for you?
ooh, man, it's definitely up there with the Terminator movies. Like Terminator 1 and 2, and the Abyss is like a hard follow. So
Yeah.
because I really like this movie.
All right. Well, go ahead and start getting ready here to close things up. It is a great movie. Highly recommended for me. I loved it. I'd forgotten how good it really was. Uh, don't take our word for it on what we think. Take it upon yourself and go watch it. It's available on Disney right
Yeah,
now. Most everybody out there that I know of has got Disney out there. It seems like, and so you can watch it on there. No worry about having to find somewhere to stream it.
yeah,
The Abyss did not become the biggest movie of 1989. However, it did something stranger. It disappeared beneath a summer of blockbusters, resurfaced on home video in a more complete form, and slowly became one of the essential how did they make that movies of its era. It's a story about pressure, physical pressure, military pressure, marital pressure, and the pressure to answer fear with violence. At the bottom of the world, Bud Brigman discovers that humanity's best defense is not a weapon. It's one small act of selflessness witnessed by something far more powerful than us. Um, so, if you enjoyed this deep dive we did today, The Abyss, follow Retro Life for you on our social medias once again. We got Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and all the good stuff.
yeah.
Um, Share the episode with another 80s movie fan. And once again, visit the t shirt shop at vintagevibesshop.com. You'll find lots of great shirts there. It's hard to choose just one.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It is.
exactly. And when you do get to watch, let us know down here in the comments. Did you prefer the theatrical cut or the special edition? And where does the Abyss movie rank in your James Cameron filmography? So until next time, Marty, we want the people to keep rewinding and keep remembering and keep retro alive because we are retro alive for you. And as you always say, Marty, what is it you want them to do?
Well, always stay retro.